Published, 17:30 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 18th of July 2018. Updated, 17:30 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 18th of July 2018. In the past 20 years, every venue bar one on the Open Rota has witnessed an American victory, with the exception just happening to be Carnoustie. Over the same period, the only thing left for the U.S. to achieve in team golf is a Ryder Cup victory on European soil. For all the wonderful storylines this summer may conjure up, therefore, there's no disguising the fact that the overriding one is that the formidable Angus links this week in Le Golf National in Paris in September represent the final frontier separating America's golfers from completing their domination of the sport. Dustin Johnson has arrived at Carnoustie as the world #1 golfer, and in steady form. It is rare for the players to link majors to the Ryder Cup, but the Europeans can see the danger for the team competition in France if they don't break the American stranglehold of 5 Grand Slam victories in a row. Listen to inform Italian Frankie Molinari, who is certainly one of the prime contenders this week. All the European players would love to break that American streak and win one, he said. There's no doubt the Americans have a really gifted group, but we need to get a European win on the board to halt their momentum before Paris. Johnson stopped after his final practice round on Wednesday to sign autographs for fans. Johnson will be aiming, as many others will also try, to tame the Carnoustie this week. Home territory may prove critical in keeping the young and hungry American core from completing their dual mission. The greens at Carnoustie this week will be painfully slow by American standards, and the vast majority of U.S. golfers never like such things. The 5-strong advance party who traveled to Versailles last weekend found a course so tight they barely used a driver, and that didn't sit well with them, either. Still, with 3 of the 4 majors staged each year taking place on U.S. soil, they can hardly complain. There is no great secret as to why the Americans are enjoying a gilded spell. Just as Seve Ballesteros, Sandy Lyle, Bernhard Langer, Ian Woosnam and Nick Faldo inspired each other in Europe's golden era in the 1980s, we are now seeing a similar scenario play out. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka and Patrick Reed are all bringing out the best in one another, and there is no sign of them slowing down. I want to win the claret jug and have my own trophy to lord over them for a time, says Ricky Fowler, thereby underlining the value of a friendly rivalry. Fowler will surely join their company soon. Of the leading quintet, the 4 who are the current owners of the majors are all aged under 30, and 34-year-old Johnson is the proud occupant of the world #1 spot. Johnson is the favorite to win the claret jug at 12/1, but he knows it won't be an easy week. Carnoustie, though, is a puzzle that proved beyond their brethren in the 2 Opens to be staged there since its return to the Rota in 1999. That year the tournament was dominated by the eventual winner Paul Lawrie and the luckless runner-up, Jean Van de Velde. 8 years later, the roles were assumed by Padraig Harrington and Sergio Garcia. The only American to finish in the top 5 in either instance was Justin Leonard, very much the third man in the playoff in 1999. Will the luck of the Open draw play a part, as so often in the past? The forecast is for the wine to pick up significantly this afternoon, which would spell bad news for the likes of Rory McIlroy, Tommy Fleetwood and Sergio Garcia from Europe, and Americans Thomas, Johnson and a certain Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is in resurgent form but will need to perform like never before to win. Judging how far the ball will roll on these tarmac fairways is difficult enough without wind, let alone a considerable one. Among the more fascinating aspects of this championship will be observing the different strategies on view. Do you have a go from the tee and put your heart in your mouth, or favor caution over adventure? Irishman Shane Lowry turned a shade of green when told big hitters like Johnson and McIlroy plan to use their drivers a lot. I just can't see that option myself, but I'll happily eat my words if I'm wrong, he said. Could anyone with a smash it and find it philosophy really prosper on a course as daunting as this one? World number 5 Jordan Spieth is the defending champion and is at 25/1 to emerge victorious again. As ever, the men who mix judiciousness with risk are the ones likely to prosper. It would certainly be no surprise to see Matt Kuchar go well again, following his runner-up showing at Royal Birkdale last year, or another fairways and greensman in Molinari. In what might prove to be a happy omen for Europeans, it will be the veteran Lyle, playing in his 42nd consecutive Open and his last, who will have the considerable honor of getting play underway on Thursday. Lyle is the man who ended 16 years of waiting for a British winner at the Open in 1985, and became the first from these shores to win the Masters in 1988. The quest over the next 4 days is for someone cast in the Lyle mold to emerge. The venue is decidedly favorable to the European cause. Now it's up to someone to show that not only have they the skill but also the heart. Brooks Koepka is one to watch out for. He successfully defended the US Open this